And I'm David. We're talking about Survivor. It's a tough week.
Wait, we're starting this video.
I know, sorry.
On a down note.
It was a great episode.
Good episode!
It was really good. The paranoia is getting real, everybody.
Yes.
Like, they're starting to lose their marbles.
They're starting to look all gaunt and hungry.
So thin.
Oh gosh,
especially
it's rough to watch them
Allison and Mike and Christian.
Yes.
They are all very skinny.
But anyway, okay,
Yes,
we
right.
start at the top with Nick and Davey talking about the next idol.
Yeah,
It'll be
right.
out to play.
Uh-huh.
So what are they going to do about that?
Yeah.
Well, Nick comes up with a plan.
Yeah, well, he's already made a fake idol. And so he just hides his fake idol under the raft with the clue that's a real clue from his real idol. And then, he just finds it there, right in front of Angelina and Mike and Christian, and they're all excited, hide the idol. And they believe that now he has found a real idol.
Yeah, ultimately, he just wanted people to not be looking for it.
Right,
To
that was the plan.
You know, someone find it. And then
Yeah.
he's like, well, I'll just find it in front of this group of people or whatever.
Yeah,
So
right.
now word is spreading around camp. Nick
Yeah.
has found this idol.
Yeah.
Well, Davey's not too happy about this.
And he's also suspicious. He's
Yes.
like, I don't know, this feels a little too convenient, like, I'm not sure he really found that real idol.
And he knows Nick already has an idol, so would this be a second idol?
Right.
In that case, Nick needs to go.
Yeah, right. Nick's too big of a threat. So now he's telling Christian, I think Nick might have two idols, just kind of planting seeds to maybe put Nick on people's radar.
Right.
Then we go to the reward challenge.
Yes.
I don't think we saw Mike or Christian one time.
They didn't show them at all.
They were not a part of this competition. They must have been so far behind it wasn't even worth it.
Right.
It really was Davey and Nick the whole
Yes.
way because other people ran out of rope. Very close though between Davey and Nick.
They both get down to one little block that they need to knock down, and then Davey ekes it out, and he gets it.
So it's this big reward. Everyone's like very excited about the possibility of going. Davey gets to pick two people. So the first one he picks is Nick. And then Jeff opens it up to the tribe. Does anyone want to plead their case?
We both go, oh, Angelina's going to say
Please,
something.
like, please say something. Sure enough, Davey.
Davey?
Now, I didn't want to bring up the rice, but remember
I don't want
I
to
got
bring
the
it up,
rice.
even though I bring it up every episode. But I don't want to bring it up.
Yeah.
But remember when I got the rice? And then you won that one.
You won. I was so proud of you, but I sat out, remember? So we could all eat rice. So if that means anything to you.
Angelina.
So then Davey picks Kara. And she's pissed.
He picks Kara and she's like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, now I'm just straight mad. She does a little vent back at camp.
Oh, right. And she again says like, look, I'm not asking for a favor for the rice. But clearly she wants a favor. She wants to be picked for reward because she got the rice for everybody. Then Davey goes on reward and he says his strategy in picking Nick and Kara was to keep his frenemies close. And his friends closer.
It's a new twist on the old saying.
New twist, yeah, love that.
Once Nick sort of steps away at one point, he's like, all right, Kara, here's the thing.
Right.
If this is an idol, Nick has two. He's got to go.
And
Kara's
she's like, love it. I was thinking the same thing.
And then they were like, we can't tell Mike and Angelina. We gotta keep it from them. Gotta be a true blindside, right?
Yeah. So they go back to camp, and so Kara tells Allison, which is fine. They gotta get people in on the plan.
Vote, yes.
Right.
But you tell Allison we're not going to tell Mike and Angelina. Allison's like, ugh, I'm working with Mike.
So then she tells Mike. Now Mike and Allison are kind of considering this plan to get Nick out, but Mike likes Nick, and Mike, I don't think, wants to get Nick out, but he sees that he has options.
I mean, we leave this conversation obviously way too early. We don't know what really is said, but we know that Mike is closer to Nick than he is with Davey.
Right, and Mike leaves it with just like, I want to surprise myself at the next tribal, which is like very cute. So he's just sort of like, my vote's up in the air and I'm going to decide later.
Yes.
So then we see Davey, he's still looking, not giving up on that idol, right?
Oh, right, he doesn't buy this, Nick.
No. And then what does he see? But some blue yarn. That we already have learned is not native.
No, Christian taught us that this season. We learned that.
So he sees this, but it's just a clue to an advantage, and he has to go to where the merge feast is, but there's the idol waiting for him.
Like, he didn't even seem like he cared. He was like, all right, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
In broad daylight, middle of the day. Yeah.
And like there's another cyclone on the way in apparently.
He's like,
but Davey's ready to march down the beach and get to this idol.
No one seemed to notice he was gone.
Then he gets down there and he's got to weigh his options.
Right.
Here.
So this one we've seen before where it's like you can, open one of the things.
Yeah.
And see if you can extend the idol. So he does get an idol. It's not just an advantage. It's an idol, but it's only good for tonight's tribal. Or you can try to extend it.
Right.
But if you can't extend it, if you get the wrong one, you're going to lose your vote.
Right. He doesn't lose the idol, but he could potentially lose the vote.
And at this point, he's got a plan.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose his vote.
No. Yeah. He does work through a lot of scenarios before
it was almost Christian level.
It was.
Like,
he might have talked for 2 hours in the rain as he's weighing his options. But ultimately he decides, no, I'm not going to risk it. I need my vote. I want to execute this plan. So he leaves with his idol, and we're certain that he's going to play it because this is his only opportunity to play it.
Right, you have to play it tonight.
Then we go to immunity.
Wow, isn't this a shocker?
Yeah.
This one. Well, first off, Mike wasn't the first one to fall out.
Which was a shocker in itself.
Right, we were like, what?
Yeah. Kara was the first one out, which she had won the balance challenge the week before, so that was kind of a surprise.
Kara and then Angelina pretty quickly.
And then it comes down to Mike and Allison, and I'm just like, what's going on? How is Mike doing well?
They're both made it to the 3-ball one, which is really hard.
Yeah.
And they're both kind of wiggly, but we're like, what?
And then Mike wins.
And then,
which is fantastic. Again, another new person winning immunity. This is nuts. Nobody's won 2 all season so far.
We just made fun of Mike's skills, and then he wins.
Yes.
Yay.
Right. So now I'm thinking like, maybe this was his strategy all along. Maybe he just was falling out and didn't want to win immunities until late in the game, and now he's going to surge. Who knows?
I mean, it's possible, but I also do feel like we've had some just interesting random things. Like we said Christian's never going to win an immunity, and he did.
Yeah. Mike goes back to camp with everybody. He's got this necklace and he's feeling empowered, and now it's just
different when you have that necklace around your neck.
Yep, and now it's just chaos. Okay? Everybody
seriously
is going every direction possible.
What was happening? Well, first we see Nick being like, Allison almost won that competition.
Yeah.
And it would have been her second. Like, she's clearly a threat. She's got to go.
Yeah.
So he's sort of pitching that to people, and they're nodding along, sure.
Yeah.
And Kara hears this, and she's like, sure, even though she's like, I'm in on the Nick plan side.
Right, yeah. Then Mike is still gunning for Christian, so he's trying to go around and talk to Kara, and she's like, no, I'm voting Nick. And then he tries to talk to Allison, and she's like, I really think it should be Nick.
He's like, I feel like it should be Christian.
Yeah, which I think he's right. I don't want him to vote Christian out, but he's got a point. But people seem to be losing sight of the fact that Christian is a massive threat to win the game.
And he, doesn't seem like he has an idol right now.
Right.
And, Mike's pulling out these points of like, this is the time. Like, we should go for it.
Right.
And he tells Nick, and Nick is like, oh, I'll think about it.
Right. Then Nick sits down with Davey and comes clean about this fake idol. And that's good enough for Davey. He's ready to forget this Nick blindside and move on to Allison.
Oh, he's telling me the truth. We're good. All right, cool. I'm in on the Allison plan.
Yeah. Well, then Mike sits Nick down and it's like, Davey's gunning for you. So then Nick's like, I gotta go for... I am just completely losing track of who's going after who at this point.
And like, I felt like the editors felt the same way. Because they were just like, choppy. This person, that person. They were like, no one's making sense. We're going into tribal with no clue whatsoever.
Right. The only thing that I'm sure of at this point is obviously Mike's safe. Davey is definitely playing his idol, and I'm almost certain that once Davey plays that idol, Nick is going to play his. That's what I'm thinking going into tribal.
Yes.
So I'm like, it's either going to be Allison or Christian if that happens.
Yes.
Because nobody's really talking about Kara or Angelina. So here we are.
And I'm like, is it going to just be like one vote for basically everybody?
Yeah.
Or are they going to get it together?
I know.
I was completely confused. And of course, their conversation isn't really revealing anything.
No.
It's about who to trust.
Yeah. Maybe you can work with your enemies the week after and this and that.
Right, just because you voted for them before, will you do, whatever.
Right, yeah. But there is a little bit of talk about how Allison and Christian are sort of these perpetual threats, and they keep getting votes at tribal councils, and how do you sort of like clear your name if you keep getting votes week after week?
So when we go to vote, we don't see any votes.
No votes.
We have no clues.
But then Jeff calls for an idol, and sure enough, Davey plays his first.
Has to.
He's got
only valid for tonight,
Yep.
so why not play it for himself?
Yep.
And everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah, right. People are like, oh, Davey played an idol.
Then Nick Now this was interesting.
Yeah.
We both are like, oh, Nick's gonna now play. Now he's going to, right?
Has to, right.
He's gonna be scared and nervous.
Yeah. Then he pulls kind of a weird move.
But he plays the fake one, which I actually thought was great. I thought that was great. He goes up there with his fake one.
Yeah.
And of course doesn't go through the whole spiel.
Right. And Davy's like, you gotta tell him who you're playing it for.
He's like, it's not real. I'm like just gauging. He's like, I'm looking.
Right.
Well, everybody's like,
right. Yeah, right. I mean, apparently I'm wrong, but I'm thinking no one is going to tell you not to play your idol, but Angelina does. Angelina's like, well, personally, I don't think you need to play it.
Look,
but she's the only one who says
everyone freaked out when he played the second idol.
Yeah.
Everyone, when Nick played the idol, everyone freaked out.
Right.
So if I were Nick, I'd be freaked out.
Yeah, right.
And if that's what you're doing to gauge people's reactions, I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
Now Angelina does speak up and say you don't need to play it, but I'm like, shush it, girl. You don't know.
I know, right?
Because I don't know if she knows. Like, why are you telling someone to play it safe when, like, let them burn the idol?
Yeah. And especially when Nick had heard that Davy was gunning for him earlier from Mike, like, you just can't be sure. I mean, there obviously are conversations that happened that we weren't privy to, but I just didn't see a reason for Nick not to play his idol at this point.
No, I'm like, play it.
For peace of mind, right?
Yeah, he does. He says, I'm worried about these faces. I'm going to go ahead and play it. So we've got both of these idols played.
And now, everybody who's not safe must be thinking, like, it could be one vote, right? Like, one vote could get me out at this point because we've got 3 people out of 7 who are immune to elimination.
Right. One lonely little rogue vote and then bye-bye.
So it's 2 votes for Davy, first off. And so he's feeling very satisfied that he played his idol and he's safe. And then it goes back and forth between Allison and Christian.
Yeah, you see Allison and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Then you see Christian and Christian's like, oh.
And then Christian. And then Christian. And Christian's gone. Which I'm so sad about.
So sad to see Christian go, but boy, you know, he lasted.
He did. He did. He's mentioned in Tribal that he'd had 15 votes cast against him up to this point. That's very impressive that he survived that long. But 18, it was too many. So he had to go.
I mean, honestly, this looks really good for Mike.
Oh, I was just going to say, very impressed with Mike here. And we got to break down what happened. Because initially I was so confused.
Yeah.
Especially when I saw how the votes fell.
So Davy and Christian are the 2 votes for Allison, which kind of makes sense because they weren't looped back in. Like that was the plan. People were going to vote out Allison, and it seems like that's just what they knew.
Yeah.
So the other 5 votes, 3 for Christian, 2 for Davy.
It was Mike and Allison who voted for Davy.
Which we were like, Mike's the one who spearheaded this whole get Christian out.
And Nick was the one who was sort of targeting Davy because Davy was supposedly after Nick. So those 2 votes confused me.
Yes.
And then Kara and Angelina.
Kara was like basically on the whole Nick train.
Right. So how did they convince Kara to vote Christian out?
I have to imagine that the 5 of them got together somehow and just said, we want to get Christian out, but Davy is our backup.
Right. And that's how they convinced Nick to just go ahead and vote for Christian.
You guys will be the 3, we'll be the 2 for Davy.
Yeah.
It must have just been a group, let's split it up this way. Because otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But it's Mike's plan.
Yeah.
Mike made it happen.
Yes.
Christian is someone that they've been trying to get out for weeks.
Yep.
So many tribals that he has survived. So the fact that Mike could orchestrate it and it actually happened
100%.
really good for him.
Really good for him. And even though Nick played his idol, Mike sort of saved Nick, this tribal council, because if he hadn't played his idol, Mike was responsible for getting people to change that plan. I mean, it also helped that Nick, you know, told Davy about his fake idol and sort of got Davy off of his back. But you know, Mike was instrumental in getting people sort of off that Nick plan and onto this Christian thing.
Right,
totally. So that's a huge feather in his cap.
Yeah, and now he has an immunity win.
Yeah.
And no one has tried to get Mike out this entire time.
He's never had a vote cast against him.
Like, we talked about this a few weeks ago where it was like, Mike was like, should it be this person or this person? But never once did he think it was him. Like, he has always felt safe.
Yeah.
He's never really come up in conversation, and he's always been, or most of the time, he's been the like swing vote in the middle.
100%.
Which is kind of his thing. He's been playing the middle, telling everyone what they want to hear.
Right, and he's been dropping out of immunity challenges early, so he just hasn't been on anyone's mind, really.
Right.
Except to, like, use him as a number for votes. And really, it's worked out in his favor, where it's not like people are dragging him along or using him, really. They're trying to convince him to vote with them, and he's sort of getting to help make major decisions.
They're all trying to work with him.
Right.
I feel like most of the people want to work with him. Maybe not Davey.
Yeah.
Like, I think Davey's the only one who hasn't, like, tried to work with him.
Right. But huge bummer that Christian's gone.
But bummer. He was our favorite for sure.
He was so great.
So this 6 takes us into next week's finale.
The finale, you guys. I mean, I am always shocked that we're left with so many people in the finale. Somehow they get from 6 down to 3 within a couple of hours, and then we have the final vote.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a mad dash to the finish line next week.
I have to say, honestly, I mean, we've been so happy with this cast the whole season, but, like, I'm still happy with this, like, final 6. And I'm sure I'll be happy with the 5 and then down to the 3.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I feel like everyone has great things about them.
Yeah, except Kara, really. Sorry. She's just getting a bad edit. Maybe she's doing something that we're not seeing, but she's not getting a lot of screen time.
She's just not getting a lot of screen time. Like, she hasn't done anything that I don't like.
No,
like, I don't have anything against her. She's just not being shown as...
She doesn't have a flashy game, whatever her game is, and so I'm just not super impressed. They didn't include her
at all in this tribal. She didn't say one thing in this tribal.
And she didn't say anything last week. So... something's going on. Maybe she says boring things. I don't know.
They're just cutting her out for sure.
Yeah.
That's a bummer for her.
Yeah. But everybody else is great.
But maybe you take her to the finals and no one votes for her. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited about this finale.
It's going to be fun.
What do you guys think about this? Are you sad to see Christian go, or was it his time?
Yeah.
What do you think about who's left?
And how do you think things are going to fall next week? Let us know, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.